The drama is at another level, and the automotive world is enjoying the scene. As a garage mechanic becomes the unexpected center of a billion-dollar manufacturer's attention. None of this was supposed to happen. Matt Armstrong didn't have an in with Bugatti. He didn't arrive with lineage or capital or a Rolodex full of factory contacts. He showed up with a broken car that nobody else would touch. That's the entire foundation of his story. While other builders were turning down impossible projects, Matt was saying yes to them. While other mechanics were protecting their reputations by avoiding damaged supercars, he was filming the disaster and uploading it to the world. That unconventional approach, taking what everyone else abandoned and documenting every brutal hour of resurrection, somehow became the most valuable currency in the exotic car space. And that's what makes this moment so striking, because the same reputation that kept him locked out of the manufacturer's door eventually kicked it wide open. The She-ron started as exactly what you'd expect. A Bugatti She-ron in pieces sitting in Miami, waiting for someone crazy enough to attempt its resurrection. The name itself was a workaround, a phonetic spelling designed to guide voiceover pronunciation, but it masked the genuine complexity underneath. This wasn't a routine refresh. Matt was deconstructing an entire hypercar to build something that had never existed before. The carbon fiber wide-body kit required engineering decisions that didn't have instruction manuals. The rear aerodynamic package had to be calibrated to work with components that weren't factory designed to go together. Every single modification cascaded into 3 more problems. Think about what most people see when they look at a damaged hypercar. A write-off, a cautionary tale, a monument to someone's miscalculation. Matt sees a puzzle. He sees possibility. He sees the chance to prove that enough skill, enough hours, and enough obsession can resurrect what the industry wrote off as finished. But the deepest issue wasn't mechanical. It was sourcing. Bugatti doesn't distribute components through eBay or parts catalogs. If you need a She-ron windscreen or a specific bracket that exists nowhere else, you need to have a conversation with the people who actually own the manufacturing. That's where Matt's situation became genuinely stuck. The car was unfinished not because of skill or tools or money, but because accessing what he needed would require the company itself to engage. For months, the She-ron sat in the workshop, incomplete not because of what Matt couldn't do, but because of what only Bugatti could provide. So they did. The communication started quietly. No announcement, no official partnership declared on social media, just Bugatti responding to a YouTuber who was publicly attempting something unconventional with their flagship machine. From a corporate standpoint, this is backward. Manufacturers typically want control over their image. They don't want independent creators cutting into their cars and rebuilding them according to personal vision. Yet Bugatti didn't shut it down. They leaned in. They picked up the phone. They decided that watching someone succeed with their machine was better than watching them struggle alone. That shift happened before Monterey, but it crystallized there. When Matt walked into the car show, he wasn't navigating as a spectator behind velvet ropes. He was moving through the exclusive environment, like someone who belonged. And there was Alexis, the Bugatti representative he'd already been coordinating with, waiting for him. The conversation wasn't about the new hypercars lining the showroom floor. It was about Matt's car, sitting thousands of miles away in a Miami workshop. It was about finishing something that couldn't be finished without them.
End of September.
This is where the business of the build meets the personal stakes. Matt had been searching for a windscreen for months, not because windscreens are complicated parts, they're glass, but because a She-ron windscreen isn't something a supplier has in inventory. Every component is manufactured to order in a closed system by a company that controls every stage of production. Finding a compatible replacement isn't shopping, it's negotiation. It requires access to the machinery and specifications that Bugatti guards like classified information. The windscreen became a symbol of the entire problem. Matt owned the car, but he didn't own the ability to complete it. So when Matt stood next to Alexis at Monterey, he didn't just exchange pleasantries about the event. He asked for help with the piece of glass that had been holding up the entire project. And she didn't say no. That moment mattered more than people realized. Behind the scenes of this build is a web of technical decisions that reveals why the car has been in the workshop for so long. The rear spoiler isn't just cosmetic. The wide-body kit was engineered around a standard She-ron chassis, but Matt's car is built on a per-sport platform, A completely different beast with different mounting architecture, different brake light positions, different structural requirements. The wing that works on one doesn't bolt onto the other without significant rework. So Matt is contemplating something radical, removing the custom blades entirely and returning to a simpler aerodynamic philosophy. It sounds like backing down. It's actually the opposite. It's making a strategic decision about what this car actually needs to be. That's the kind of thinking happening inside this workshop every single day. Then there's the wheel situation. Matt wanted to increase the diameter, to give the She-ron a more aggressive stance and closer ratio to what modern hypercars run. A tire exists that could fit. Technically, physically, it can be mounted. But here's the problem. The available tire isn't rated for the speeds he plans to achieve. If you're engineering a 200+ mile/hour machine, bolting on rubber that maxes out at 150 becomes a safety liability, not an upgrade. That's the level of specificity haunting this project.
So much.
Nothing is simple. A wheel isn't just a wheel. It's a node in a system where every piece affects every other piece. Increasing the tire diameter changes the final drive ratio, which affects acceleration, which affects fuel consumption, which affects cooling, which creates downstream consequences nobody anticipated. The wide body itself was misunderstood from the beginning. When photos circulated showing the carbon fiber components in their raw state, covered in primer still being finished, internet observers assumed they were cheap plastic waiting for legitimacy. Matt addressed that directly. The material is genuine carbon fiber. The finish looks incomplete because it is. This isn't a rushed cosmetic modification slapped onto an already finished car. This is a ground-up reimagining, and reimagining takes time. It requires decisions about aerodynamics, weight distribution, structural integrity. It requires testing philosophies that don't exist in any manufacturer's playbook. People saw an unfinished car and assumed laziness. They were watching methodology. The Molsheim visit looming in September adds another dimension entirely. For most people, visiting a Bugatti facility would be a scheduled tour, a guided experience through climate-controlled showrooms with curated talking points. Matt isn't going as a tourist. He's going as someone with a project that requires access, collaboration, technical expertise. He's going as someone the company has decided is worth engaging with, not just showcasing to. That distinction is enormous. It transforms the dynamic from customer admires manufacturer to collaborators solving a problem together. The She-ron goes from being his car to being their concern. But there's a moment from Monterey that nobody was really watching. Mate Rimac was there. The figure who essentially reshapes Bugatti at the highest level. The CEO, the decision maker. The person who determines the company's entire trajectory. And Matt, who fearlessly tears into damaged hypercars and diagnoses their failures with ruthless clarity, suddenly became careful. He didn't walk over. He didn't interrupt.